more importantly, to engage in a dialogue about the intersectional and generational impacts of being an immigrant or the children of immigrants. I could not be more grateful to be present in this space. These stories are so important to share. I'm deeply appreciative of the entire What Matters to You team for making this wonderful event possible and practicing creativity to bring it here to Watsco. Let's give them a round of applause. With this, I'm so proud to introduce an incredible woman who is a constant advocate for representation, whose passion constantly amazes me. Please welcome the chair of What Matters to You, Meera Patel.
you, Gus. How is everyone feeling tonight? My name is Mira Patel. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I proudly serve as the chair of Student Government's What Matters to You agency. I am so pleased to welcome all of you to tonight's What Matters to You speaker series. We are so excited to have all of you here tonight at the Watsco Center. Before we begin tonight's program, I'd like to thank Dr. Patricia Whiteley and the Division of Student Affairs for providing us the support needed to move tonight's event here to the Watsco Center so many more of you could attend. Dr. Whiteley is a great supporter of student government and what matters to you, and is a champion of all students on campus. It is my pleasure to welcome the Senior Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Patricia Whiteley.
Good evening. Thanks, Mira. Thank you to everyone for being here. And I want to especially thank What Matters to You and Student Government. I appreciate everyone's creative flexibility, as we say. And I'd like to give a special shout out this evening because it is in their last week of being student government leaders. Landon, Ajiri, and Grace, why don't you stand up and just say thank you for all your... As you know, What Matters to You was created by members of student government about 5 years ago and provides the ability for students to discuss unique topics to you, the student body. Thankfully, we have a wonderful family who has supported What Matters to You. And I'd like tonight to acknowledge the Silk family for making today's event and future What Matters to You events possible. How about a shout out for the Silk family? Thank you. The outpouring of interest and engagement with our speaker today made it absolutely necessary to provide additional support to move the event from the Shalala Student Center to the Watsco Center. When tickets go in 4 minutes, and that would be 800, you know that perhaps there's a lot of interest out there. So I'm really happy that everyone is here, especially because we have had so few really in-person events during COVID. So it's just really wonderful to see everybody here. I'd like to thank my colleagues that are also here with me today, Dr. Jeff Jerk, our provost, Dr. Jackie Travisano, Dr. Josh Friedman, and Rudy Fernandez. Thank you very, very much for being here today. Thank you to the entire What Matters to You team, to Mira and your Vice Chair, Colin Miller, and also to the advisors, Josh Branfon, and of course, our Assistant Vice President, Dr. Renee Callan. Let's have a great What Matters to You.
Hello again, everyone, and thank you, Dr. Whiteley. As the chair of What Matters to You, I have had the privilege of serving for an incredible organization that has a track record to prove it. We've had the honor of talking to Bill Nye, Megan Rapinoe, Josh Peck, and Tabitha Brown, just to name a few. Be sure to check out our Instagram and Facebook at What Matters to You for future events, and keep an eye out for an application that will be opening up in the coming weeks. On our website that's posted above, you can find some of our past events and keep up with what we have brewing for the rest of the semester, such as our post-event action program with La Federación de Estudiantes Cubanos on March 31st from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Rock. Expect to experience a visual history of Cuban immigration with some notable figures. We hope you had the opportunity to stop by the FEC table near the entrance of tonight's event to learn more about all the events during this year's Week of Cuban Culture. The What Matters to You team and I have been working so hard, and we could not have done any of this without the help of administrators and departments across campus, our advisors, and of course, all of you. We appreciate every single one of you, and your support means everything to us. What Matters to You strives to provide opportunities for you to engage in learning outside of the classroom about topics that interest you. These events are designed to engage you in critical thinking about challenging issues, and we hope that you leave these events with an expanded perspective and greater understanding. We hope you can take what matters to you and apply it to your journey here. Tonight's event will consist of a discussion facilitated by our two moderators, who I will introduce in just a moment. Towards the end, they will present questions that have been submitted by all of you prior and during the event. To submit a question, follow the link on the screen where you will be asked to submit your name, year, hometown, and question. At this time, I'd like to welcome tonight's moderators. Our first moderator is Matthew Kaye. Matthew is a senior studying music therapy at the University of Miami's Frost School of Music with a focus in neurological music therapy. He has had the position of head facility manager at the Patty and Alan and Herbert Wellness Center for nearly 2 years, where he is responsible for student employee training, employee scheduling, and member experience. Matthew has served in multiple leadership positions at including member of the Student Employee Committee at the Herbert Wellness Center, vice president of La Federación de Estudiantes Cubanos, member and counselor for Camp Kesem, mentor of classical violin with Shalala Music Reach, and music therapy representative for the Frost School Student Council Committee. His experiences at have prompted him to pursue a career in music therapy with a focus in neurorehabilitation for young adults. Thank you, Matthew, for being with us tonight. Our second moderator, Serona Elton, has extensive experience as a music industry professional and educator. She grew up in Miami and began her career here, influenced by some of the same industry people who influenced Pitbull. She is currently a professor, director of the Music Industry Program, and the Associate Dean of Administration at the University of Miami's Frost School of Music. She is also head of educational partnerships for the Mechanical Licensing Collective and a Yamaha Master Educator. She has worked for or with many top music companies, including Warner Music Group, Sony Music Entertainment, and Universal Music Group, as an expert in licensing and royalties. She is also an attorney admitted to practice in New York and Florida. Professor Elton has held leadership roles in numerous industry organizations, including the Recording Academy and the Florida Bar Entertainment Arts and Sports Law Section. Finally, she has written books and numerous articles about the music industry and has been quoted by media outlets like NPR Marketplace, Billboard, and CNN Business. And mark your calendars, because this Friday night, her team is producing a concert to benefit Ukraine at the Gusman Concert Hall on campus. Thank you, Serona Elton, for being here tonight. Now, the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to introduce tonight's special guest. This Grammy Award-winning performer has taken his career to extraordinary heights, having over 25 million albums sold and over 15 billion video views, while establishing himself as an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, a motivational speaker, and an international sensation in the process. Inspired by a passion to provide quality education for children from all walks of life, our speaker serves as an ambassador for SLAM, the sports leadership and management charter schools he has helped to establish. But behind the #1 hits and the non-stop international tours lies Armando Perez, the intensely passionate Miami native who rose up from the streets, took a seemingly impossible dream, and turned it into global superstardom.
Armando Christian Perez,
Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
I want you to give me everything you got. Working hard, yeah, right, picture that with a Kodak.
A lot of things in these records have come to life.
Me with a Kodak.
Performing in Times Square came to life right in front of me. I'm not the best rapper. I don't want to be the best rapper. But goddamn it, I'm the hardest worker. And more than anything, being a Miami boy, first generation Cuban American, I love the fact that I grew up an underdog.
Didn't graduate high school, hardly went to school, but it was a teacher that changed my life.
She thought there was a fight going on, and when she broke through it, she seen that we were rapping, and she said, "You have talent." My first major concert, Luke said, "Get this on stage." The more I heard no, the more I was like, I gotta fight for this. I believe in this. My happy is to get up every day and look life in the face and go, "Please, what you got, baby? Come on."
I always tell people, look, there's no losing, only learning.
There's no failure, only opportunities.
And there's no problems, only solutions. It all depends on how you want to switch.
You're gonna sit up there with somebody that looks at you and says, "I don't think that's a hit there, bitch."
Music talks to everybody, and it's a universal language. We created a new name. It's called Total Market.
We all bleed the same blood, breathe the same air, and put our pants on one leg at a time.
How I feel about the Latin community, I don't ever leverage it. You know, I am it. We went back to one of my old neighborhoods, Little Havana in Miami, and we opened a school called SLAM. It means the world to me because you see these kids and you see you. This isn't a gimmick. This isn't propaganda. I'm up here because it works. I live it every day of my life.
And that, folks, is how you take a negative and turn it into a positive.
It was all a dream. Now I just wake up and live it. Thinking that the sky was the limit until I figured out there's footprints on the moon. Now I'm like, get out the way, bitch, move.
Please welcome to the stage, Pitbull.
Well, first of all, I want to say, yeah! I want to say thank y'all so much for having me. It's a true honor, a true blessing. I was talking about it earlier backstage, just saying it's remarkable to be here. It's something very, very special because let me tell you about the U, about UM, and me being a Miami boy, 305 Dade County representative to the day that I die. Is we all got that underdog spirit. We all got that chip on our shoulder. We all got that ready to take on the world, and no matter what it throws at us, we ready to make it happen. Thank you for having me here once again. Muchas gracias, de verdad, de corazón.
Pitbull, Mr. 305, what do you want to go by?
I got a whole lot more names too. I got Chico, Amandito, Mandy, Mr. Worldwide. Don't worry, you said our
Well, how's it feel to be here at the U?
I just said how I feel to be here in the U. But if you want, I can tell you again. Okay, I'm gonna put it together. And excuse my French, it's not very good looking. It is motherfucking remarkable to be here at the U today. See, that's that Miami boy right there.
So we want to get to know you better, but we know we have limited time.
Yeah.
So we have a list of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
That you can answer in like 10 seconds or less. They're really fast.
Man, well, I'm Cuban, you know, we talk a lot, so I'll try.
Take as long as you like. All right, you ready?
Hit me.
Okay. One word that describes you.
Real.
Morning or evening?
Evening.
Guilty pleasure.
Guilty pleasure?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot of those. Guilty pleasure. And let's go back to that one. I'm gonna have to phone a friend.
Okay. Favorite color?
Green.
Good answer. What never fails to make you laugh?
Haters. I love them. May God bless them.
What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, every day. Every day.
All right, favorite Cuban food?
Woo, fricasé de pollo, arroz blanco, frijoles negros, platanito. Qué rico.
Favorite artists you've worked with?
Oh, favorite artists I've worked with, man. To be honest with you, it has to be Little John.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Little Jizzle.
That's awesome.
And, you know, if we're gonna talk about John, we gotta hit him with a what? We gotta show John that we showing love over here. You and I say what? Y'all say what? What? Yeah. Okay. Oh, we gotta send that to Little John. Appreciate it.
All right, last one. Favorite song you collaborated on with another artist?
Favorite song I've collaborated with. I'd have to say, I'll go back with Little John, man. John is fun, John is real, John has taught me a whole lot. John gave me one of my first chances in the music industry. He believed in me, he believed in the movement. When you get to a certain level, it takes away from the fun, because a lot of people seem to think that they are who they think that they are. And you know, it's never no fun being creative with people that worry more about the followers and likes than the records that you're making and the fun that you got, that moment that you're creating together. You know, so for me, to work with Little John is definitely an honor. And definitely, let me see, a guilty pleasure. Guilty pleasure. Vamos a ver. Una pizza de Rey Pizza, like around 2 a.m. around there.
So I'm gonna take this time to be a little selfish and just talk about me for a hot second. So I am the child of immigrant parents. My mom is Cuban, my dad was raised in Mexico. So that's something that I've always related with you, having those parents being immigrants from somewhere else. So how did their background influence the way that you viewed America?
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, Mexico and Cuba, tremenda mezcla, papito. Candela. Interesting mix. How did it... My grandmother was a rebel in the revolution, next to Castro, next to Che Guevara, next to Camilo, and they were in this thing called La Sierra Maestra. And when she figured out that, you know, she made a mistake on what they were thinking, which we all do in life, she had to figure out a way on how to hustle my mother out of Cuba. I love the skull cast, that's great. I love it, that's amazing, thank you so much. I appreciate that love right there. So then, when she, you know, then my aunt, they got together and figured out a way to hustle the kids out of Cuba, being my mother and her sister. My aunt then became a political prisoner, and my grandmother found a way to hustle them out through this thing called Operation Peter Pan, which is Pedro Pan. And through this operation, my mother went 10 years old from Cuba to Indiana. So here's the thing, when you're living in that kind of situation, and why I appreciate the United States of America the way that I do, I'm gonna tell you what it is. My grandmother, I didn't know where my mom was going. They didn't have an address, they didn't have a family, they didn't have a place, they didn't know the language, they didn't know anything. All they knew is that they were getting out of Cuba and they were on their way to freedom, okay? And that's all it takes. Why do families, whether it's from Cuba, whether it's from Haiti, jump in that ocean, don't know where they're going, how they're gonna get there, no GPS, no nothing, just with one hope and what? For freedom, for a chance at freedom, all right? I tell people all the time, freedom isn't free, but it's priceless. Freedom isn't perfect, but it's priceless. And when you're here in the United States of America, that's why when I hit a stage, I make sure it stays the United States of America, not the divided states of America. I take the time to let y'all know, I know what my family went through in order for me to breathe the air in the United States of America, for me to be able to be born in Mercy Hospital here in 1981, here in the United States of America. I'm the first one to be born here in the United States. So my family would always turn to me and tell me, Mandito, tú naciste en los Estados Unidos. Ya te lo di todo. Meaning, you're already born here in the United States of America. I gave you the best gift I could ever give you. Take full advantage of it, all right? So when people speak about the States, I tell them, I've been very, very blessed to travel the whole world many, many times. I was just telling the group backstage that, you know, I've traveled the world, but I've lived in hotel rooms, to be honest with you. I don't get a chance to get out like that. But I do know about the favelas in Brazil. I do know about the slums in Mumbai. I know about the shanty towns in South Africa. I know what happens in Bangladesh. I know what happens in Myanmar. I know what happens all around the world one way or another, because the news you see here, believe me, it is not what's happening. That's the truth. But you know what it does? It makes the United States of America, no matter what ghetto you're from in the United States of America. It could be Chicago, or they call it Chirac. It could be Baltimore. It could be LA. It could be Liberty City, poking beans. It's Beverly Hills compared to what's going on in the world right now. And that is why I appreciate every opportunity that I get a chance to speak about this beautiful country, United States of America. And that if you don't do what you want to do with your life here in this country, it ain't the country's fault, it's your fault. You're not taking advantage of these freedoms. I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Mr. Worldwide, yes. How closely do you identify with that cultural background from your parents?
Well, that's the thing. You know, a lot of things you guys are going to hear me say, I always say them over and over again because it's just the truth. So I tell people, if you don't know where you're from, you don't know where you're going. And if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. And the reason that we're so connected with what went on in our life is because they told us the stories of what really happened. And mind you, they're not all good stories. And a lot of people, you know, throughout the journey either ended up in prison, ended up dead. But it's a part of the story. And that's why when you hear me say, take your life from a negative to a positive, what's a story without ups and downs, valleys, peaks, losing? You know, you gotta lose, you gotta slip, you gotta fall. Everybody does. I was telling them as well, because they're not mistakes, they're must-takes, okay? And you don't make mistakes, mistakes make you. Now, if you show me somebody that's perfect, I'm running the other way, because something's gonna happen, okay? And it is due to the way I've been raised, and bottom line, for the level of appreciation that they told me, meaning appreciate the fact that you have the opportunity to do something with your life that we weren't able to because they snatched their life away and everything that they had going on in Cuba. So I hope that one way or another, you guys, every day, what I tell you on the record, every day above ground is a great day. Remember that. Tell you on the record, every day above ground is a great day. Remember that. And if you step to life with that level of appreciation, I promise you, living is giving. The more you give, the more you receive. And it's an amazing ride. Pero oye, prepárate, because it's like this, mira. Bah, 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 rápido, rápido. I tell my kids all the time, how old are you? They say 12. I say 15. My bad, 18. My bad, 21. Happens like that. So enjoy the ride. Live life. Don't let life live you. Bet.
So you've mentioned that you wouldn't be the person you are today if you hadn't been raised from Miami, if you hadn't come from Miami.
So,
how is Miami different today?
whew. Oh, man. I say this playing, but it's the truth. New York is the Big Apple. Miami is the pineapple. Okay? We are the most industrial city below the Mason-Dixon. And even though we're the bottom, that's what, you know, one of our nicknames, the bottom, the Magic City, 305. And Miami, I don't know if y'all know what Miami stands for, but money is a major issue. Miami is the new Ellis Island to Latin America and to the rest of the world. You know how they say, like, if you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere? Well, now Miami is. If you can make it in Miami, you can make it anywhere. Due to the melting pot, due to all the different cultures. And that's why when you hear me say, I believe in one race only. That's the human race. Why do I say that? Because growing up in Miami, I grew up around Cubans, Ricans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Haitians, Bahamians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians. So therefore, you get this mixture of people when you really figure out how similar you are more than you are different. Whether it's through your food, whether it's through your dance, whether it's through the music, whether it's through your struggle. Because let me tell you, when you're in the neighborhood, it don't matter if you're black, white, pink, purple, orange. Only color that matters, green, baby. How are we gonna get this green? If you got something I need and there's a way we can connect and make it happen, believe me, I don't care where you're from and you don't care where I'm from. How are we gonna come up together? And watching Miami within the last, I would say 25 years, and what it's become is unbelievable. But we fought for it. Miami's been the underdog to the world for many, many, many years, whether it be in music, whether it be in tech, whether it be in business. You know, the only thing we weren't in the underdog was in the 80s, and that was the drug game. That was a different story, though. Negative to positive. So why I say that there's no way I would be who I am if it wasn't for Miami, all right? Because again, how I started off earlier, it gives me that chip on my shoulder. It gives me that No matter who steps to me, I don't care how big you are, what you do, or how you do it. I'm down to get in a fight. I was just telling someone backstage. What were we talking about? We were talking about the whole Will Smith thing with slapping Chris Rock. Yeah, you imagine that? That's how rumors get started. But I was like, for me, I don't believe it, number one. Number two, I just can't see a man get slapped and not do anything about it. Clearly you're not from Miami, because that would have been a problem. I've had people throw things at my face in his zone, so I can't imagine someone touching it. But again, it's not about winning the fight. It's about you going to remember me. After this fight is over with, part of your whole life, you're going to tell a story about me. That is Miami. Anytime you come to Miami, now mind you, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. We all know that, right? But what happens in Miami never happened. But either or, you remember it always. And that's what makes Miami so special. And for me, it's an honor to be a part of Miami's growth, not only musically, but also for the entrepreneurs, for the tech side, for the education side, and literally put to one of the neighborhoods I used to live in, which is Wynwood. Believe me, completely different Wynwood than what it is right now. But I'm happy for them. They used to say, don't talk about it, be about it. And that's what Miami's about. And in today's day and age where the fake gets celebrated and the real get hated, you just gotta keep fighting. And if you like it, then it's fun. Welcome to the crib. Another nickname for Miami.
So you've talked about your mom and some of your teachers encouraging you and pushing you to pursue music, and that without them, you wouldn't be where you are today. As a teacher, I certainly try hard to encourage my students any way I can. What advice would you give to our audience about how to stay focused and driven when they're not getting that kind of encouragement from anywhere?
So another reason it's so special to be here tonight, I used to park cars at the Orange Bowl when I was about 6 years old, when I lived in Little Havana. So to be able to be speaking here in front of the University of Miami and seeing the growth and where you guys are at now. Congratulations on the Elite, by the way, Elite 8, by the way. That's right. You know, it's amazing how it comes full circle. I didn't graduate from high school. I went to about 25 different schools. I've lived in good, bad, worse neighborhoods. And the funny thing is the worst things I saw in the good neighborhoods, believe it or not. At least here in Miami. And it was a teacher that changed my life. And this teacher's name is Hope. Hope Martinez changed my life. I was at a high school called Coral Park at the time. One time for the Rams. But I also did South Miami, Coral Gables, South Ridge, so, you know. And one day I was rapping in the hallways, and they thought it was a fight. Back then there was a lot of gangs back then. I mean, an alphabet full of gangs at the time. So they thought it might have been something else. And when the teacher breaks through, and Hope Martinez breaks through, which, by the way, came to UM. Wow. Mira, para que tú veas. Like Willie Chirino says, lo que está para ti, nadie te lo quita. That means whatever's meant to be for you will be. So, my bad I don't come with subtitles sometimes. I gotta invest into that. But Hope pulled me to the side and she said, does this happen every day? And I said, what do you mean happen every day? She said, do this many kids come and watch you rap? I said, yeah. She said, you got talent. I'm like, come on, Miss Martinez. Come on, Miss Martinez. Yeah, whatever. I'm 17 years old, so you know how you think when you're 17. You think you know it all. And clearly I didn't. And one day, she finds me, and she gives me this invitation to a DMX video shoot. This is DMX 97, 98. I'm talking about DMX's volcanic fire. Everybody's on the DMX at this point. And she's like, go grab your knucklehead friends. And y'all gonna be extras in this video shoot with DMX. I said, oh, what, DMX? Yeah, we're gonna be at DMX. And then when I went to go grab the invitation, she kept pulling it back and pulling it back. And finally, I snatch it. And when I snatch it, she goes, I don't ever want anything from you in life. All I ever want is for you to thank me when you win your first award at an award show. And I was like, come on, Miss Martinez, you crazy. Whatever, all right. Well, that invitation to that video shoot, I ended up battling one of the Rough Riders at the time. He was coming up, his name was Dragon. And so it was Swiss Beats, Dragon, myself, the whole crowd's there, we rapping back and forth. And it was fun. I had home court advantage, so therefore I could flip English, Spanish, Creole, Patois. I could flip all kind of things with them, and everybody was losing their mind. And this guy named Irv Gotti pulls me to the side after the battle. Irv Gotti was the biggest producer at the time, which brought Jay-Z, Ja Rule, and DMX to Def Jam. He made Def Jam again, right? And he asked me, you the one causing all this ruckus up here? And I'm like, yeah. He said, you write music? I'm like, nah, man, I just freestyle. He said, yeah, that freestyle shit is cool, but it don't make no money. I said, gotta start writing music. And it's right. A decade later, I figured it out. It's a free style. It ain't a paid style. You know, so now it's a paid style at this point. But either or, it was that teacher believing in me that got me to that video shoot, believed in my talent more than I did. I got the opportunity that I was preparing for, met Irv Gotti, and that's what got me writing music. And from there is when my career took off. And then I ended up doing a record deal with Luther Campbell here in Miami. So who better than Luke, you know, to do something with? And that just goes to show you how powerful it is. Now, I'll tell you this much, guys. You're living in a world of distraction. Whether you have a tattoo or you don't have a tattoo, tattoos are permanent right there for life. Well, anything you post in them phones, that's a digital tattoo. It's there for life. Don't get distracted with followers and likes. Followers and likes and followers and likes. No, you don't want to be followers and likes. You want to be leaders and unique. Leaders and unique, make a difference. Take a risk. That's how you really live out your dream. But if you're worried about what everybody's talking about you, forget about it. Then you're caught up in the noise. I still got a BlackBerry. You know why I got a BlackBerry? Because I might like the iPhone. What I might like about it, it gives me access to everything. So then I'll get distracted from what my focus is. What does BlackBerry allow me to focus on? Family, business. That's all I need to focus on. I don't care what they say about me or they don't, because you'll never make everybody happy. That's for sure. And on the internet, you got a bunch of internet gangsters. They talk a whole lot, but you'll never see them, and they'll never really, how should I say, you'll never really handle that situation the way you feel it should be handled. So for you guys, at the end of the day, it's called a cell phone for a reason, because you become a prisoner to it. All right? You guys, utilize it. Don't let it use you. Technology's great. I ain't got nothing against technology. Maybe these guys that run these companies, I may have a few words to exchange with them in the future. But you utilize it, don't let it use you, then you'll be able to unlock whatever, your dream may be. But literally, the world is at the palm of your hands. And it all depends on what you're doing with it. And especially at this age, I can't imagine being your age in a university having to deal with everybody knowing about everything you do and how you do it, who you do it with, and why you did it, didn't do it. I don't even know. I'm confused just speaking about it, to be honest with you. So my biggest advice to you guys, to everybody here, I would say, is don't get caught up with the hype. When we were growing up, they say, believe none of what you see. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Now it's believe none of what you hear and none of what you see. Because everybody now, they try to act like they live in a life that they're not. They try to be somebody that they're not. And I'm telling you because I deal with it. I deal with it. It's a part of my industry, a part of my business. But it messes with me when it influences people that are trying to create something in their life. So don't get caught up with that. Bottom line, focus, envision, set goals, believe, and not selfish, but self first. And what I mean by self first, love yourself first. Help yourself first. Believe in yourself first. Then you can love others, help others, and others will believe in you. But if you ain't in tune with yourself, believe me, you ain't fooling anybody but yourself. And the answer became a little longer than that, but that's how you help these kids.
That's what we want. So who are some of your heroes and why?
Oh, my heroes, my mom. She's my superhero. And why? Because obviously your mother's gonna love no matter what. To me, a woman is the most powerful thing in this world. And it's the truth. They're definitely a lot stronger than we are, I'll tell you that much. You try giving birth. My mother taught me what it was to be a critical thinker, not a criticizing thinker. It's easy to criticize. It's hard to be critical. Now they call it conspiracies. No, I ain't conspiracy. I'm just thinking, as you should. I'm not in the world of following the cattle getting, slaughtered in the slaughterhouse. I'm not in the world of being sheep. I'm in the world of thinking. She taught me how to do that. On top of giving me that love, she taught me how to survive. And that to me is the best quality she could have ever given me. And I thank her for that every day. But the reason that on another level she's a superhero, that's why I come up with that. On top of Miami being hot, they got these lights up here that it feels like the sun's on us right now. But so my mommy, that's why I came up with no losing, only learning, no failure, only opportunities, and no problems, only solutions. Because that's what she would do all the time. No matter what situation we were in, she always found a way to make it positive and not dwell on the situation, but yet, hey, how are we gonna figure this out? Whether it be evictions, whether it be lights cut off, no food, the story, a lot of our stories. But either you could dwell on it, or you could take that hopelessness and say, I don't ever wanna feel like this again, and let it drive you, and let it be that passion, and let it be that hunger, and let it be that intuition that you get to take advantage of every opportunity that you possibly can. That is what my mother gave me, and that's why she will forever be my superhero. So one time for mommy right quick. Yeah! My other hero, abuela. My heroes are the most powerful women in my life. Abuela, because everything that she went through in order to be here, and todos los consejos que ella me ha dado todos los días, all the advice that they always give you, because we live life through little slogans. So, dime con quién tú andas, te digo quién tú eres, vago trabaja doble, ¿cuál es el otro? Barato sale caro, paso corto, vista larga. So these are all advice that they just say to you every day when I would be around my grandmother. I didn't see her every day. And they stick to you. And she would always tell me, Armandito, uno tiene que volar como la águila. You always need to fly like the eagle. So I came up with a slogan, and I say, fly high like an eagle. Don't fly low with egos. Everybody got egos. And when you're around people that got egos, all they're trying to do is bring you down instead of letting you fly high. How do egos fly? They fly by themselves. They fly high enough to see what's going on and make a decision on when they're gonna go and snatch up their prey. The way they raise is amazing too. They raise by actually pushing the little eagle off the cliff and going back up and picking it up and bringing it back until the eagle figures out how to fly. And then, hey, boom, life is on you now. That's how I feel about the kids at 18 years old. Boom, life is on you now. I did my job. But her giving me that advice is something that I apply every day. And when they speak about, oh, my family went through this and my family went through that, I'm like, man, my grandmother was a rebel. Was up there in the mountains. God knows what she's seen and she hasn't seen. But she's the same one that will make me café con leche con tostada, un pan con tomate. And that to me was an amazing dynamic. Like, wow, abuela's so real. And Tia is my other hero. Yeah, and it's the same, for the same reason as abuela. And it's later on in life where you enjoy those moments. And that's why I would hate for you, no, I don't hate anything. I would dislike for you guys to lose your life and time just staring at a screen all day, worrying about what other people worrying about. telling you, again, life go like this. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, you're 30 years old and going, what just happened? But I don't think that is going to happen to anybody in this room. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and we're all here for a reason. I know y'all going to leave here motivated, inspired, and Tupac has an amazing line, may he rest in peace in paradise, is, I'm not the one, meaning Pac said, I'm not the one that's going to change the world, but I'm the one that's going to spark the mind of the one that is going to change the world. And that's what I'm looking at here today. So again, it's an honor, a blessing, and priceless to be here.
So you started rapping when you were...
Como Hialeah. Only people from Hialeah scream like that, brother. Hialeah, agua, fango y factoría.
Si tú pasas por mi casa y tú ves a mi mujer.
We need Laz up here now.
Hey. So you started rapping when you were really young, but you didn't turn into a superstar overnight.
Oh, no.
What stories can you share with us about rejection and failure that you encountered early on and how you pushed through those?
Well, still not a superstar. Far from it. I'm a hard worker. I never set my mind to be the best rapper or the best musician or talent out there. Now, music to me is a hustle. It really is, and it's allowed me to create a different life and path and break chains for my family and the generation to come. But my goal was always to outwork you. So while they were sleeping or going to the clubs and acting a fool and acting a donkey, I was in the studio making sure I was knocking out records. Anytime an opportunity, I was there. And what did I do? I respected everybody's time. When someone told me to be there at noon, I'm there at 11:30. When someone told me, I'm gonna need you at this spot, reputation is your word, it's your bond, that's all you got at the end of the day. And what do they say about reputation? It takes a lifetime to create a reputation, seconds to destroy it. So you gotta protect it with everything that you got. So that was my goal coming up in the game, is like, I'll outwork you. And I'm still an underdog. Still an underdog to this day, and I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. And as far as rapping early, it was actually a friend of mine. His name's Cubo, and we call him Cubo because he's Cuban, Puerto Rican. Otra mezcla que es candela, brothers. And I saw him rapping, and I was like, man, I love how he's flipping words. So I was probably like 15 years old. I was already in love with hip hop, and again, you know what makes hip hop so beautiful? That it brought everybody together. It teaches us about each other's struggles, and we can all see like, okay, you go through the same thing we go through. It's just a different city, But poverty's poverty at the end of the day. Struggle, and you real recognize real. Hip hop has allowed that to happen. I don't know what's going on right now, to be honest with you. That's something different. May God bless him. But so. Being that the goal was to outwork everybody in my industry, in the music business, believe it or not, when you get to a certain level, people don't like to work. They like to be late. They like to mess up their reputation. They think that they're really that hot. And believe me, in the laws of physics, it says it all. What goes up must come down. And they don't even think about that. So the same people you see on the way up, you're going to see on the way down. Question is, what kind of relationship did you build? Were you about your word? Was your reputation? Were you on time? Those are the people that are going to constantly want you to win again, because nothing's forever, that's for sure. And in the music business, you're here today and you're gone today, especially right now with what's going on. It's like dope money. It comes quick, leaves quicker. Play with it. So the only reason that I continue to, and when I say I mean we, I don't do this by myself. I have an amazing team that has the same goals, same visions. We believe in each other. I'm not a boss. No, we're all leaders. We're partners. We advise each other on what the next step should be and what are the goals that we need to accomplish, right? But when they tell me, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico, when I'm in the neighborhood sometimes, Chico, you're so lucky, Chico, man, look at you, what you doing? I said, man, you know what's funny? The harder I work, the luckier I get. Everybody what happens in the game, 9 out of 10 of them, they get comfortable. And let me tell you what getting comfortable equals. Complacency is the cousin of death. The minute you get comfortable, someone got your spot. Someone, was he rapping in Spanish? I'm rapping French. Was he rapping Chinese? No matter what happens, someone's looking at you to slip, fall, and just waiting to take that opportunity. One of the GOATs was right there when someone slipped and took advantage of the opportunity. Tom Brady. Talk about an underdog. 6th round, nobody looking at him. 3rd string, they're like, man, this guy's slow, can't throw, he's horrible. The opportunity came about when someone got injured. He got in there and he seized the moment, and since then he ain't let it go. Why? Because I guarantee you he outworks everybody out there. Things don't just happen. They're not a divine intervention. No, they're by design when people perform at that level. So for everybody out there, again, don't believe the hype. Don't believe living in a world of instant gratification. That instant gratification exists. Hard work pays off, bottom line. There is no secret to it, no secret sauce, no magic. You work hard and it will pay you back, I promise you. Take that to the bank, that's a guarantee.
What was your latest failure and how have you overcome it, or how did you grow from it?
My latest failure, I would say, let me see. Okay. So I do speaking engagements, clearly, all around the world. I've been very blessed to be able to travel the world with someone that not only do I look up to, he's a mentor, he's a friend, and he's and also a business partner, which is Tony Robbins. All right. And as I was getting booked for these speaking engagements around the world, I got a chance to go speak in Mexico. Bueno, para todos los mexicanos allá afuera, ya tú sabes. And I went to go speak in front of this family, huge family in Mexico, very well respected, amazing reputation. And it's Carlos Slim, it's the Slim family. Yeah. Well, don't worry, if y'all don't know about Slim, they own everything in Mexico, even like the piece of ice cube. When it moves, they getting paid one way or another. Serious business family, but amazing people. Stand up, solid, good hearts, and want the best for their country and the people. So it was an honor to be at this speaking engagement. So when I get to the speaking engagement, something got lost in transition. They thought I was going to perform. I'm like, well, clearly we didn't come prepared for that. And then on top of that, the people that we were doing the Q&A with, instead of it being a Q&A, something very positive, it became como más de chisme, more about gossip and, what do I do with this one and that one and that. I said, this is not what I'm here for. And I lost my cool a little bit there. That was one of the last failures that I still replay in my mind, that I can't wait to get in front of Carlos and his son and let them know that, hey, I apologize for getting out of character at an amazing event in front of a family that I respect so much, that I also try to mirror what they've done for my generation and everybody coming up. Not only my family, but our culture coming up. So that to me is the last one that plays back in my mind. And again, what you got to do, there's this thing, there's a saying that I got. It's called all G, ALLG. You admit it, let it go, learn and grow. Admit it, let it go, learn and grow. And if you could do that, there's a lot of things in life that you'll be able to accomplish. As soon as you let that pride down, that ego down, and you can just say, damn, my bad, I apologize about that one. Let it go, learn from it, and grow. Now, if I do that again, y'all can look at me like a donkey. Which is a good one that I heard, what's his name? The owner of Mr. Jones, the owner of the Cowboys. He said, I know y'all know the saying, you could take a horse to the water, but you can't make it drink. You heard that one before, right? Well, Mr. Jones got a better one. He says, you could take a donkey to the water, but you can't make it a horse. So therefore, don't be a donkey, okay? Learn from it, move forward. Oh, thank you.
So we want to talk for a few minutes about your personal branding. I think a lot of students have come up, believing they need to start developing their brand. And certainly you've over time changed, expanded your name from Mr. 305 to Mr. Worldwide, and you've become known for the way you dress as well. So what kinds of lessons have you learned along the way in terms of branding, how you've developed your brand that might be something you want to share with those trying to figure out what their brand should be?
All right, so the way that I approach, the game and life, let's just say, is, you constantly got to be ready to grow. And for some people, it's growing pains. They're scared of growth. And again, they just stay complacent. They stay comfortable. I was never afraid to grow and try new things because my teacher, Hope Martinez, said a slogan to me or gave me advice and said, the biggest risk you take is not taking one. And I always thought about that. So anytime I felt like something was a risk, I was like, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. I'm committing myself to this. Growing up in Miami in the 80s, we had a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of startup companies. They were just around cocaine. That's what it was. But I saw a lot of hustlers. I saw a lot of people trying to create business behind what they had going on. Some of them stayed illegal, some turned legal. They flipped their whole life around, but they found ways to invest into either, dry cleaners or construction or landscaping services, whatever it may not be, from negative to positive. So being around that growing up, I saw what hustling was. And I had the same hustle, same street mentality, just a different product. The product was music. So with music, when I saw, like in any hustle, I'll give you an example. On social media, the first cool thing was MySpace, right? Then that got played out. Then Facebook, oh, no, I ain't Facebook, my parents on Facebook. Twitter, oh, I ain't on Twitter no more, the president's on Twitter, I don't know. Instagram. So what we call it down here is hitting a lick. When you hit a lick, that means you got onto something before anybody else is onto it. But when everybody figures out what the lick is, it's no good no more. It lost value. Or like they try to say, in these companies, it dilutes, it depreciates, right? So you lost the hustle. So in order to keep the game on its toes, what do you gotta do? You gotta create new hustles. You gotta create new grinds, things that people are not looking at. So in music, what I learned was while everybody, so obviously, who doesn't know my story, I worked the music, I worked the mixtapes, I worked the DJs, I worked the streets. I know everybody in the game in Miami, we all came up together at that time. That time was, obviously Luke, he's the king, Trick, he's the mayor, Ross, he's the boss, but you got Flo Rida came up at the same time. Me, Rick, Flo, Trick was right before us, Trina was right before us, and then Khaled did his thing, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Laz is huge for us down here as well, right? But I saw something that I said, man, everybody is doing the same music. And I was down in the Dominican Republic, and there's this big, di que pa todos los dominicanos aquí, que lo que. So I was down in Santo Domingo, and I saw this beautiful Dominican woman dancing to this song from a DJ called Bob Sinclair. And the name of the song is World, Hold On. And it had that whistle in it. So, and in my mind, I'm looking at her dancing, I go, I bet you anything she doesn't speak English. Let me check. So I went up to her and I said, oye, mira, te veo aquí bailando esta canción. Ah, di que esta canción me encanta, esto es lo último. She's telling me, yo digo, ¿tú hablas inglés? She goes, un poquitico. And I said, do you speak English? She said, no, just a little bit. I said, do you know what this song's saying? She goes, no, in Spanish, no, but I love it. And I'm like, this is the kind of music I need to be making. I need to be making music that speaks to you whether you understand the language or not. I gotta find music that's timeless, global music, universal language music. And then I jumped onto Bob Sinclair. Did the remix, record took off. When I get to the neighborhood and I run into all the boys that I know from back in the day, Pit done sold out. What you doing them DJ records for? Well, about 3 years later, I was like, you're right, I sold out. I sold out every arena and stadium I've been performing at since the last 3 years. And it took that risk where I saw All right, everybody's up on this lick. Everybody knows the game at this point here. How do we create a new offense? How do we create, it's almost like what the Bulls did, Phil Jackson did with the triangle offense. Nobody was looking at that, but it won them about 11 championships with the Bulls and the Lakers, right? So same thing. I started jumping on world music, and nobody wanted to do it because they felt that it was gonna hurt their credibility. Let me tell you something. If you're worried about your credibility, it's because you were never credible in the first place. Because you're worried about what other people think about you. You got to go for it. And at first, they're not going to see it, because to have vision is to understand everybody else is blind. But when they do, then everybody's on it. So the DJs blew up. They all blew up, whether David Guetta, Tiesto, Afrojack, Benny, you name it. We did all those records. And then everybody started jumping on DJ records. And I said, ooh, got to figure out the next one. What's the next lick? So in 2016, we opened the World Cup down in Brazil, in Sao Paulo. Now, when are Brazilians here? See what I'm talking about? Miami's a melting pot. Yeah. So we did the World Cup in Brazil. And that's when I said, oh, wait a second, we got to flip the game. And I decided to go independent at that point. I was like, nah, I got to find a new lane, find something that nobody's really messing with at this point. It's taken about, I want to say about 4 years. Found the lane, and it came with a whole new industry, which is NASCAR, the country world. And what is it that I love about the country world? Excuse me. Their professionalism. The way that they handle people, the way they treat people. There's general principles, there's morals, there's thank yous, you're welcome, excuse me, please. You know, it's not like what it was in the other worlds that I've been involved with. And that's happening as we speak right now. And we have a record coming out with Zach Brown in April. So get ready for that. And I'm going to take this time also. I want to say congratulations to Daddy Yankee, who has the #1 album in the world right now. And, Yankee's been in the game about 25 years. I've been in the game 22 years, and we've watched each other grow, and I'm very, very proud of him. I'm very happy for him. And he says he's going to retire. I just don't know if it's like one of them Jordan/Brady retirements, but I hope he enjoys it. I'm very, very proud of him. So it's to everybody out there, just take that whole story and embody it with one advice, one slogan. The biggest risk you take is not taking one. Bottom line.
So we're going to be pivoting over to some student questions. These questions are from the audience, whether they were pre-submitted or they're live right now. So
all right.
Our first question is from Sophia from New Jersey. How did you decide on Pitbull for your stage name?
Sophia from New Jersey. Wait, is she in the audience or she's in New Jersey? Okay, well, Sophia, I can see you, but thank you for the question. And how did I get the name Pitbull? All right. I grew up around a lot of different folks. One of my best friends was Dominican. His name is Junior. And one day we were on our way, we're in the neighborhood. In the neighborhood, they used to fight dogs. It is what it is. It's a part of the culture. And we were on our way to a pit fight. And when we're on our way to fight, Junior turns to me. He's like, that's your name. Your name's Pitbull. And I'm like, she got a little ring to it. I like that. Pitbull, pit, yeah. And then as I did my research on pit bulls, they're stereotype dogs, as people feel that they're very aggressive. But they're not. They're a part of their environment. If they're in an aggressive environment, they become aggressive dogs. But I don't know if you know this, and fun fact, pit bulls were actually early on babysitters for babies. That was the dog you wanted around the baby, because that's how much they love and that's how much they protect. And then what made the irony behind it is that, I always say it's the truth, I'm the only legal pit bull in Dade County, because they're all illegal in Dade County. And that's what I looked at. And I saw the fight in a pit. When it bites, it locks, it doesn't let go. And it fights to the death for what it believes in. And what I stand for is, I stand for the world. But anywhere I go in the world, I represent 305 Dade County, Miami to the fullest. And if it wasn't, again, just to circle back, if it wasn't for the city, I wouldn't be who I am. And that's what this pit fights for. You know, when they get to talking about Miami, you're saying, no, partner, I think you're mistaken. O como dicen los cubanos, dicen, estás equivocado. No, completamente equivocado.
Awesome. So our next question is from Taylor, who is from Bel Air, Maryland. Taylor,
Maryland.
Sounds like Taylor's here.
Taylor's there? Hey, Taylor, how you doing, mama?
There's Taylor. So Taylor asks, what lessons from your youth were important to your success?
The lessons from my youth that were very important to my success. Remember, when you're growing up in a certain environment, you can easily become a product of that environment. My environment was you're either playing sports, you're selling dope, or you're going to prison and dying. It's not really that simple. That's the multiple choice, you know, A, B, C, D, that's it. Or all of the above. What I learned from that is I got a chance to see what I didn't want out of life growing up. But even I started working when I was 5 years old at a flea market on Northwest 7th Street and 37th Ave, which is the Flagler Dog Track. And from there, you know, I parked cars at 6 years old. I cleaned bird cages at 7. I sold everything with my mom. My mom sold everything, you name it. So I would knock on doors with her, and I learned what that rejection felt like, right? But the rejection, again, became gasoline to the fire. Like, oh, we got this. I got this pitch on lock for the next door. Pop, pop, pop. Hey, by the way, you know, you learn that. I cleaned houses with my mom. And all of that taught me how to appreciate hard work and opportunities. And that's what I learned from growing up, you know, being there in those situations and just appreciating anything you got your hands on, whether it was a piece of food, a place to stay. I can't even count how many places we've lived in Miami, and you know, in Georgia I was in a foster home. But these aren't things it's not to play victim, it's to play victor. This is what makes me victorious. This is what makes me who I am. Because you take all the negatives and you make them a positive. Because what's a good story without, again, nobody gets on a roller coaster that just goes straight. And life's a roller coaster, baby. You wanted to go up and down and tear and twist and do all of that because that's what makes it worth living, right? So to me, that's the biggest lessons that I learned growing up was just watching that hustle, watching that struggle, watching that sacrifice, and feeling that sense of hopelessness that I never wanted to feel. Well, I learned how to deal with it, but I never wanted my kids to feel that. I never wanted the ones that I love to feel that. And I made a decision when I was about 6 years old. I used to live off of Northwest 7th Street and 49th Ave. And my decision was, it wasn't about money. It wasn't about money. My mother always said, money's a passport, allows you to come and go, but it does not make you, right? So my decision was, you know what I want out of life? I want security, stability, and protection. Because the environment that I was living in, it was just unpredictable. At any given time, anything could happen. And I didn't like that feeling. So that is, not only did I make the decision, I stuck to it. And so I would say, after that whole conversation, security, stability, and protection was the biggest lesson that I learned as a kid and what I wanted out of life.
Guillermo Moreno from Miami, Florida says, or rather he asks, when you have experienced your toughest challenges, how did you find the strength and discipline to keep going?
The toughest challenges. So when they ask me how many kids I got, I tell them I got 10,000 kids because we're up to 12 schools, 10,000 kids. I have 8 kids. And let me tell you, the toughest challenge is helping them navigate through these waters that we're living in right now. And especially, you know, again, I talk about these devices. You feel me? Because when we grew up, so example, before all social media hit, I'm like, man, I got this parenting thing on lock. I got it. You know, I know that they're gonna be straight. Then all of this hit, and it hit everybody at the same time, which reminded me of another epidemic that I grew up around, which was the crack epidemic. You had a crackhead mother and you had a crackhead baby. You know, and I feel like with technology, I see the same thing. Just a different, they ain't smoking it, they're just looking at it. Because it is addicting, and if you don't think that it's addicting, then you're in denial. You know what they say the longest river in the world is, right? Denial. Think it's a game, play with it. All right? So we still have tough challenges. But I revert back to, that's what living is about. When it gets easy, it becomes boring. And those tough challenges, what you gotta do is you gotta meet them face on. head on. Don't procrastinate. Don't leave something for tomorrow that you could do today. And when you procrastinate, what happens? See, the one thing, y'all can figure out how much money you're gonna have in a bank account. You can see it go up, you can see it go down. You don't have time in a bank account. You don't have time in an account. You can't see it go up, you can't see it go down. You gotta live for the moment. Learn from the past, live for the moment, build for the future. But you gotta live for the moment, right? I say, and feel this moment, it's in the verse. I tell you, I see the future, but live for the moment. Make sense, don't it? Now make dollars, I mean billions. I'm a genius, I mean brilliant, right? And on another part on that shit, where it keeps going, it goes, I'm a genius, I mean brilliant. The streets is what schooled them and made them slicker than Slick Rick the Ruler. I've lost a lot, I've learned a lot, but I'm still undefeated like Shula, right? For y'all don't know who Don Shula is one of the most historical coaches in the NFL for the Miami Dolphins, who had an undefeated season in 1972. No one's been able to do that again. That's why I mentioned Shula, right? So you gotta just take it on. Welcome it. Welcome it. Let it knock you on your ass. You can knock me down, but you won't knock me out. And that is what it's all about. But I can't imagine what it is to get in a certain situation in this day and age and someone videotape it and then you gotta relive that every day over and over and over and over again. That's a challenge that I haven't dealt with, to be honest with you. Because I don't even know how to get on social media, to be honest with you. I hardly know how to turn on a computer. Yo soy guajiro. Guajiro means I'm like I'm a country boy. I like it simple. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. I'm cool. Simplicity is the key to success. So I'll round up that with this. In the word can't is can, in the word don't is do. In the word won't is one, in the word impossible is possible, and in the word impossible is impossible. Once you figure out you're possible, you can break through any barrier, any border, there's no limits, and you live life how you want to live it instead of life living you.
So I have a question that's a bit lighter than that they're coming in. Let's see, these keep being changed all the time. So this is gonna be our last question.
All right.
Kate from Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
Kate asks, what is your favorite restaurant in Miami?
Oh, trying to put me in hot water with everybody I know, huh? Well, there's spots that I go to very, very, low key. I don't like to be in the mix. But the one that's most historical to me, because not only is the food amazing, the story's amazing, but also my great uncle was the one that painted it and has the paintings inside the restaurant. And if y'all go, you can see it. His name is Juanito Perez Cruz. And that's Versalles and La Carrera. Yeah.
So we started off talking about your cultural background. We talked a little bit about your journey so far, your career, found out which is the best restaurant to go to in Miami. So we want to just extend our unlimited and undying appreciation for you coming here to the university. On behalf of me and Dean Elton, of everyone that worked on the What Matters to You committee, on behalf of all the students for making their voices heard, let's give another round of applause to Mr. 305, Mr. Pitbull.
Hey. To everybody here today, I just want to let you know it's a true honor, a true blessing, in the same way that I started before. It's remarkable to be one of them little jitterbugs, a little boy in Little Havana parking cars, to being here with you guys today and hopefully motivating and inspiring and letting you know how special it is when you're from Miami, 305 Dade County. No matter if you're not from here, if you're here, you're from here. And anywhere you go, you're gonna represent that for the rest of your life. I got a chip on my shoulder, and anywhere I go, I put the crib on my back, I put the Magic City on my back, I put the bottom on my back, because everybody told us You can't, you won't, you never will. It's impossible. You're crazy. You're stupid for even trying that. And look where we're at right now, what we're doing. So that you, thank y'all so much. I appreciate the love. And remember this. Remember, okay? No losing, only learning. No failure, only opportunities. And no problems, just solutions. It's that little Chico Pitbull, Mr. 305, better said, Mr. Worldwide. Checking in, checking out. God bless.
I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots are running, 2 out, I'm starting tonight. Tonight, yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something, ooh, yeah, I love it, alright. Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with a supermodel. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 1 + 1, I'm too strong. If you ain't about money, then get gone. I wanna wild out all night long. You wanna ride out, then get on. I'd hate me too if I were you. And when it comes to billions, I'll take 2. It's only one life, you don't get 2. So live life, don't let it live you. I got a pocket full of $100 bills. Put on a jacket, cause these diamonds give you chills. 2 shots are running, 2 out, I'm starting tonight. I'm starting tonight, yeah. Look in the mirror, I'm like, who the hell is he? So many whips and cribs, I'm losing track of keys. Ooh, up to something, ooh, yeah, I love it, alright. Alright. Yeah, I'm drinking out the bottle. Get loose, hanging with supermodel. Get loose, feel like I hit the lotto. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. It feels good to see the world getting loose. Feels good to see the world getting loose. I don't know about you, Sack Noel. I don't know about you, Phenom. I don't know about you, Mike Shadow. I don't know about you, but I feel good.